Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to another Bulletmarv video. Right, making today's video as a bit of an on the spur moment while I'm doing the second day for the convention that I was at, the Platesburg convention. So I'm just going to do a quick video today, a quick throw together. But I just want to bring the topic up and bring a bit of discussion going on, really. I hear a lot of people online and even some of my friends ripping on this system, saying it's rubbish, it's just a gimmick, there's no good redeeming about it. And to them, naysayers, I say no. So, released in Europe on December the 8th, 2006, this console revolutionised the way we play games, more or less. It brought an aspect to a game which we've seen previously before in other models, but not done well. While not perfect, it worked. And of course, I'm talking about the Nintendo Wii. This is my Model 1 version. So let's just go over what has this console got. So this is your basic console. Obviously you've got your eject, power, reset, got expansion. Your memory card is just standard SD. Also you got a connector button to connect to join up your Wiimote, as well as you have your disc tray there. And on the Model 1s, you had expansion for GameCube memory cards, and GameCube pads. And then if we go to the back, you have two USB 2.0 ports, as well as power, AV, and obviously the connector for your sensor bar. Now, the controller took a very new approach, still had buttons, it was still usable. And personally, a lot of people rip on this controller because of the way that games utilise it. You know, you are swinging your arm back, you are doing that. But for games that don't use the motion control as much, or use it as a repetitive motion, but if the game's good, it works. So, we're going to go over the main controller now. This is the Wiimote. This is my original Wiimote, I haven't bought any others. And as you can see, when you press it, it powers up like that. Got your D-pad, got your A button there, got your plus, minus, home, 1 and 2 buttons. So for one of the main aspects, which we're going to talk about later, you can hold like that. And on the back, you have the B button. And on the bottom, connector to connect the nunchuck. It's my original nunchuck. You have an analog stick there, C button, and a button. But you want to know something? Real weird. This actually fits real well in your hands. It's really comfortable. And again, it's a comfortable experience. It is actually comfortable. You don't have to be jumping about a lot. You can just use your hand wherever for it and stuff, where it needs to. It's got a power button there, which you can also turn off the power there, and then your infrared sensor there, which your motion sensor there, which then obviously the motion bar picks up. So, why do I like this console, and why does everyone hate it? People hate it because this came out during the same period as the Xbox 360 and the PS4, which are, and definitely are, more powerful systems. But if we look back at Nintendo's history with consoles, you will notice that they weren't as powerful as previous generations. I know this is going to cause a lot of people to have red flags about this, but let's think about this. The GameCube came out. Let's just go back from this list. GameCube came out. Nowhere near as powerful as the Xbox, but I believe more powerful than the PS2. Only just. So, and it, you know, you just control it. The only downside to that, I use these little DVD discs, which could only hold about 1.3 gigabyte of data. So a lot of games came on 2 discs for that. So you've got that, and then before that you had N64, obviously. You had the Saturn, not as powerful, but easier to program for, and not limited, and then the PlayStation 1, which was obviously a lot more powerful than that. Actually run more better, just had more support, and could do more stuff with it, because you weren't limited to a cartridge, which might only hold about 16 megabytes, or just maybe more. I'm not 100% sure how much they hold, but they can only hold a limited amount, while on CDs you can hold up to 700 megabytes on the Saturn and the Finite, and also the Dreamcast, which were kind of in between there. I'm not going to include that on this list because that came out on its own, but the N64 obviously was weaker than them. The Super Nintendo was more powerful than the Mega Drive or Genesis, but that was only due to that coming out after the Mega Drive. And then before you had the NES, which obviously was more powerful than the Ataris at the time. The NES restarted game consoles because none were being released for a while. But yeah, the NES wasn't as powerful as what was considered around that same generation, which was the Sega Master System. It wasn't as powerful as that, just had a better sound chip. So we get into that thing of normally Nintendo don't always have the best hardware, the best high-tech hardware. They never have. I've not one exception, the Super Nintendo, they've never had it, but we've talked about that. So a lot of people say the games for it suck, they're all for babies, they're all for children, or they're just not fun, you know, because they're not a first person shooter where you're ducking and covering and you're not going in a straight line. So this had some killer games for it, and I mean killer games for it, games that are actually the best from the generation that they were in. Better than the PS3 games, better than Xbox 360 games. I'm going to go through them now. I have a pile of games here, which I'm going to go through and tell you why I think these games are awesome. So let's start with this one, The Conjurer. This game, it's a first-person shooter developed by Sega, and yet it uses the motion control to talk about, you know, for aiming and everything. And yes, it can be clunky, but the game is so enjoyable, and the way that they go about it as well, it's kind of quirky in a way as well. You've got aliens, you've got marines fighting you, and it's just a fun game. And the graphics are pretty nice as well. If we're going into graphics, the graphics are reasonable, and they work well for the game. Lighting is good, the score is good in the game, and it's just a fantastic game. And that's actually a first-person shooter, and the way that you play that, you move with the C-stick, but you aim with the nunchuck like that. So in theory, if you had the Wii Zapper, you could just hold the Wii Zapper like that, so for better aim, use that wherever, that's more comfortable than just having your hand, the C-stick, moving around. It works really well. The next one is House of the Dead Overkill. Now, I'm aware this has been released on the PlayStation Network, but it was released on the Wii. And this is the answer to games on this console are not just for children. This game it's violent, it's gory, it's got a great sense of humour, it has this weird B-line horror movie feel. Now, sorry about that, I thought I heard something, so I stopped and checked. I was talking about this game, House of the Dead Overkill. So I said this is a light gun, on rails light gun game. Traditional, but it has a very B-movie horror styling to it and humour to it. So it's quite funny and it's quite cheesy. And the game is just all around fun. Yet you can complete it within a few hours. But the game is so enjoyable and so worth playing that it makes the Wii kind of special to have this game as a special release. And again, Sega released it, and I know I'm a bit of a Sega fanboy, but still, to get this game on the system when it came out, I mean, I got this second hand, but this game first actually showed me that the Wii wasn't just a baby's console, and this is when I really got into the Wii, was with that game. One of the other games that I got was a port from a GameCube game, and a lot of you have known that I'm a big fan of the series, so obviously I picked this up. Well, I got this when I bought my Wii, Resident Evil, the remake, on Resident Evil Arcade remake on the Wii, originally for the GameCube. Interesting about this, it can use the Wii gamepad, which is a very nice gamepad. I should have got that, I'll show you, but I might show you that later. And then also you can use the GameCube controller as well with it. So again though, graphically this game is amazing, and it plays well actually with the Wii controls, because you don't have to fling your arm around. It's a very comfortable experience because you can have your arms laid down and just play it casually. It feels actually great on the system using the Wii control. That's all I'm going to say for that. And you all know what this game is like, so I'm not going to talk much more about it. The next two I'm going to talk about are The Last Story and Xenoblade Chronicles, and I've done a review of Xenoblade Chronicles, so if you want to click on the link below in the bottom left corner, then go ahead. And these two games are some of the best RPGs that came out during the last generation. And this showed what the console was for. Very mature themes, graphically amazing, scores completely amazing in them. Gameplay mechanics, while different in both games, are really phenomenal, and they work well with the Wiimote as well. The directions extras with the Wiimote and how you use it is intuitive. It feels natural using it like that. So it's a very, very good game, and both of them are. And these games are some of the most, I want to say rarest games on the systems. Limited print runs, and if you've got limited editions, they're even more limited than what you might think. So the games are expensive. They have been re-released, but getting these games, when I got Last Story when it was released, and I was blown away. And it was like around at the same time I got Aswell Overkill, I was drawn more to the console. I realised this console is good because I had it and it was just gathering dust. And so the next one I'm going to show is obviously Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess. While this is the cheapest version of the Twilight Princess to buy, it's probably the best on the system, and it shows off what the Wii can actually do graphically, and the gameplay is good, storyline's great, and you want Legend of Zelda gameplay is like. So you use your sword, you can swing like that, and it works quite well. The art style, I love the dark art style, I love the more mature theme that the Zelda game took in this. And I said this was one of the first games that I got with it, so all in all, it's a great game, and for anyone who might be interested in the Wii, get it just for this game. Next game is a platformer that gets kind of gets overlooked a bit, really, and that is Wario Land: The Shake Dimension. This is such a fun little happy game, and the control scheme is good. You only need to use the Wiimote, and you use the Wiimote like you would an NES. None of the other buttons really do out apart from 1 and 2. So you get a feeling of you're playing this old school platformer, a Mario style platformer, but it does use some of the motion sensor stuff in it as well. Like obviously you have to shake, so since I'll show you with the Wiimote, since you have the Wiimote in your hand like this, you like that, some stuff you have to turn like that, but it feels natural again, it feels normal, it feels fun, and it's not just flailing your hand around like that, you're holding it like that and you're just doing that, and it's fun. And it's a great little platform, very quirky, great sense of humour, and it's worth picking up. I picked this up purely by accident. I got this at a game shop when I lived in the Netherlands, and I never looked back. I got this while I was babysitting someone's child, and he wanted to get into playing that while I really short game, so I bought him this to play on the Wii being more of a kid-oriented console. And then the other two games that I want to talk about and you've seen these in the latest Pickles video, but I've been playing on quite a lot recently, and that is Umbrella, Resident Evil: The Umbrella Chronicles, and Resident Evil: The Dark Side Chronicles. Both games very, very fun, quite challenging in places. The storyline obviously is great, and it goes along the lines, you know, from Resident Evil 2, Code Veronica, Resident Evil 0, Resident Evil 1. It has a broad spectrum to it, and how the games feel and graphically it's done. And interestingly, the guy who was making the trying to do an HD remake of Resident Evil 2 is using this, the Dark Side Chronicles, as a template for the backgrounds and everything. So that tells you something right there. And last but not least is this. No, this is not for children. This is being rated 15 years or older. This is Bikini Zombie Slayers. It's a fun hack and slash. Yes, you are waving around that, but it's got a quirky sense of humour. It's Japanesey. It's just a great little game, and I've had a lot of fun playing it recently. And again, I got that at the convention as well, so I'm kind of being biased there. But after getting these games, this is what made me want to make this as well. The fact that I have a love for this console now. I'm really passionate about this console, and it deserves more praise than what people give it. People should stop. I know people are allowed to have their own opinions, but don't be shitting on this console because you think it's a child's toy. Because it isn't. It's got some great, deep, interesting games, although there's some quirky games to go along with it as well. You've got great ports from arcades. The game just works in every way, shape or form. So yeah. Oh, and I also forgot to mention, you own a GameCube, but you can only run it through composite cables, can't you? You know, those yellow, red and white cables. This can play GameCube games, and you can run it through component, which can get to about 480p, and then you can upscale that through an HD upscale and put it through an HDMI. So you can get a great picture out of this, you can get good quality images. And by the way, I know you can get a component cable for the GameCube, but unless you're willing to spend over £100, or what your equivalent is, you're not going to get one. This really just show, this is just my video to show that the Wii was a contender. Yes, it didn't have the AAAs coming out of its arse. It didn't have like Assassin's Creed's coming out. It didn't have Call of Duty's coming out, even though there were a few that did come out on it. It didn't have loads of big names coming out of it, but what it did have was some great gems and a lot of fun times to have with it, and it's a great little party piece as well. For example, playing House of the Dead. Just get 4 people, just get 4 Wiimotes and 4 zappers. Boom, 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 there you go, you've got a party. You know, a lot of these games are multiplayer as well, so it had a great online presence, and some of the games that came out for it, like Super Smash Bros. Melee, they're fantastic games, and yet people dog on this console, think that it's god awful, think that it's terrible, think that it just sucks, but it doesn't. This thing has a lot of potential, and this is what I'm trying to get across. I like this console a lot. Maybe you don't agree with me, maybe you do. If you have what to say about this, leave it in the comment section below. I will reply back. You can call me an idiot, you can call me whatever you want, but this personally, it's a great console, and I would easily put it in one of my top 10s as a good contender. Maybe not the top, but somewhere in the middle, because it has a lot of hidden gems, and a lot of them are hidden because people think they're rubbish. So yeah, like if you've liked, dislike if you dislike. Obviously, if you know you're somewhere in between, tell me in the comment section below. Feel free to subscribe, share with your friends, but most of all, keep on gaming.